This is Your Singapore Weekend.
And I'm Susan Ng. Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. They are a store that was founded in 1957. They were one of the first mom-and-pop TCM stores in Singapore. They had humble beginnings in the heartlands. They're also run by a family dedicated to the art of traditional Chinese medicine, a business that has lasted 3 generations. And this morning I'm privileged to speak with Lee Chin Seong. He is the 3rd generation owner of Heng Tong Medical Hall. That's right. Some of you may have visited, and some of you may have parents like mine, my mom, who may have visited the store in the early years. Chin Seong, thank you so much for making time to speak with me today.
Thank you, Susan, for having me.
Share the background, Chin Seong, of your family-run business.
Well, Heng Tong has been around since 1957. It is a traditional TCM medical hall set up from a humble beginning. We are in front of a Malay kampong as well as a Chinese village. So we specializing in herbal dispensary. What it means is that we can be able to example a full list of herbs when you bring a list of Chinese concoctions from Chinese physicians.
And that is what we used to see, isn't it, Chin Seong? When you walk into a medical hall, in the early days, you'd be greeted by a bank of drawers, they're all brown, on a wall. And I always marvel at the guy who's standing there and picking up stuff and weighing everything. You still do this, don't you?
Yes. We still keep the old antiques since 1957. So my parents has been in the business for 50 over years together now. So they know about herbs. Every day they are in touch with different types of herbs. So we have a full list of over 600 herbs. Whatever will be available in Singapore, we should be able to example the herbs.
And you're 3rd generation to work at Heng Tong. What led you to join this business?
Well, I was trained as an engineer, so it was never meant to be that I will be joining this business. Yeah. So it's just that 5 years ago that I decided to help out in the family business so that it can make at least a name, in the part of Singapore TCM history that there's such a shop exists. And well, I grew up in the TCM environment, so I had the first-hand experience of how to consume or start as a customer for TCM products.
So here you are, an engineer running a TCM business. Your grandmother, your parents, they've had many decades of experience working with TCM herbs. How were you trained? I know you spent a lot of time as a child in the shop, but were you specially trained to understand all the various herbs?
Well, I was trained on the ground, the so-called on-the-job training. So I was always exposed to TCM herbs since young. And since I joined 5 years ago, and I also know that now there's a lot of improvement in modern science and medicinal knowledges. So what happened is that I have actually just finished my program in my postgrad certifications on pharmacology from NUS Medical.
Okay. So now you're properly trained, Chin Seong.
Well, I sort of know what is going on in the medical industries, as well as some foundation knowledge of medicine.
Okay. And this is a legacy business, isn't it, Chin Seong? So, you have really a task to not just preserve the business, but to take it forward. However, a lot has changed, hasn't it? You've seen the changes yourself because you spend so much time in the shop with your, grandma, your parents. How do you hope to continue to preserve the history and heritage and to stay true to what your grandma wanted to do, which is to support families and care for people?
I think that if you look at the TCM industry, you have to take into consideration the evolutions and the convolutions of time within the Singapore history. So the part that TCM is playing in the medical landscape in Singapore has evolved. So we have to modernize in terms of blending into the lifestyles of modern Singaporeans. And with the change in the medical technologies, I think that TCM still can play a part in terms of the modern lifestyle, and in particular the wellness part of it.
How have you begun to transform the business? I mean, 5 years isn't a long time, and yet I know that, you've begun to transform the business. How have you done this? What are you doing?
I think visually, I think there are few areas you can look at this question. Visually, I think that because we have quite a number of antiques in the medical hall, so what we did visually is that we use modern LEDs to carry out the architectures and the beauties of the silhouettes of different antiques within our store. So when you come to our store, you can see that we have highlighted a lot of those antiques in a nice way. That's visually. I think that more on the products itself, which is the TCM herbs, we have introduced a few things that are still relevant and where the modern generations will think is relevant to them. For example, we have our personalized confinement herbs packages for young mummies. We also have a new generation herbal tea that is sweet but low sugar and made of authentic herbs, and it's very, very close to the modern bubble tea.
Okay.
Flavor. Yes, yes.
Okay, so you've actually, taken this forward, continue to provide services to long-time customers. I'm sure they're still coming back, Chin Seong?
Yeah, they are. They are still going for the traditional herbal dispensary, and we are. Recently, there's a surge in coughing in Singapore, and that's where our traditional cough formulas powder comes in. So we are doing quite busy business on this area for the long-term customers, and of course, not to forget, as a mom and pop shop in HDB Heartland, we have we still keep the kampong spirit around. The local customer feel that they are very in a very warm and familiar environment.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
No, I totally understand because my mom used to go to a TCM, a medical hall, in the Serangoon Gardens area just for a chat. I'm like, really? And just to chat with the people there. So I understand what that means, especially for seniors to have a place they can go to and feel comfort and comfortable. But you've also taken the business one step further. I've looked at your website. I'm looking at your website, and you have now taken to doing things on your website. People can actually read more about you. They can book your services on the website. They can even shop online. This is one way, Chin Seong, that you are also attracting a different audience, maybe the younger audience?
Yes, I think that there are a few ways. One way is that online is one of the ways for us to walk out of our small little neighborhood. The other thing is that our neighborhood is getting old, so we have to attract new customers. So online is one of the way. Social media is another way. So and then we also participate in a lot of institutions activities, like for example projects from polytechnics and Singapore Management Universities. So in the matters of dealing with the students, they also learn about TCMs.
Okay, so you are actually making inroads into reaching out to the young people. How do you think, after 5 years in the business, how do you think traditional Chinese medical halls can actually continue to remain relevant in the years ahead?
I think that first, I think the younger generation, they are very science-based. So we are also engaging with some institutions like the Center of Excellence of Innovation to also try to put a lot of those traditional formulas to be explained in a more scientific term, so that the younger generation can understand more. It's not like a folk, just a folk ordinary remedies. It has to be science-based and proven.
Yes.
So that's one way. The other way is that we also have Airbnb experience that we do for tourists as well as younger generations. So throughout the experience, they will have a first-hand experience like myself. They are working in a TCM environment where they do the herbal dispensary. They can blend their own herbal tea, within the Airbnb experiences. Yeah.
Right. And you are a part of this year's Heartlands Festival, and this is where you will have the opportunity to share your story and to share your thoughts behind TCM with visitors. What would you hoping to share with visitors who come by your store during the festival?
Well, I think that this HECS, which is the organizer for Heartland Festival, has done a wonderful job in terms of making it very accessible for younger generations to know more about Heartland activities. So this is one of the initiatives that they have brought in, where the customers or potential customer or future customers can actually register and then scan a QR code and understand more about the family stories, businesses behind it, and then at the same time earn points, win a prize, and get some freebies.
Okay, so that certainly is something to do, but I think the important thing here, Chin Seong, is that visitors and everyone alike will get to understand the medical hall, especially your store, which is a well-known name. You've been around since 1957, and your parents are still there. So I think that would be something great because we can hear their stories as well. So what's next for you for Heng Tong? What would you be doing to take it forward, Chin Seong?
I think, to be very frank, we are still a mom and pop setup. It's relatively small.
Okay.
So we are online is one of our first initiatives to get out the neighborhood. I think the next is that we will be engaging more with community, like what we're doing, but more in a deeper level, and of course through innovations, because innovation is in our next vision in terms of doing approaching to the younger generations. And lastly is that we are also looking at ways to expand our footfall as well as reach into different locations and areas in Singapore. So this will be moving forward. This will be one of our strategies.
And I do wish you the best. You can find TCM store, Heng Tong Medical Hall, at Block 274, Bukit Batok East, Avenue 4. Their unit is 0192. But they also have a presence online. They have a website, www.hengfotong.com. They're also on Facebook at Heng Tong Medical Hall. They're part of the Heartlands Festival. You can check out www.heartlandsfestival.com for more information and to read all about Heng Tong. Chin Seong, I must thank you very much for making time to speak with me today, and I wish you and your family the best as you take Heng Tong on to the next generation.
Thank you so much, Susan.
Thank you very much. Lee Chin Seong is third generation owner of TCM store Heng Tong Medical Hall. Once again, you can find them at Block 274, Bukit Batok East Avenue 4, but best you can head to their website, hengfotong.com. Another inspirational and very interesting conversation to end the Saturday edition of Your Singapore Weekend today. And I want to thank all of my guests, including Chin Seong, for joining me early morning today to have conversations with me. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7. I do look forward to your company again. In the meantime, have a wonderful Saturday.